Okay, so let's go over some of the new recently released documentation regarding Bryan Kohberger. Now, without sounding rude, people should always check the documentation before they post anything online. Case in point is this.
One of the doors inside the apartment is locked. Can you guess which one? Let's roll the tape so you can hear it for yourself.
Well, it turns out that that wasn't actually Bryan's door that they were trying to get access for. The apartment is leased out by Washington State University, where Bryan was working. The apartment itself can occupy 2 residents, but there was only one person living in the residence, which was Bryan. So the door that's in question that they're claiming was locked wasn't the room to Bryan's. It's the presumptive state of the things that they found the house in, which is what leads to an interesting question. Did Bryan have to remove things in his property after committing the crime? I.e. the shower curtain. After washing himself, is it potential that after a crime like that, he somewhat stained the shower curtain, leading Bryan to have to remove it? One of the things that's always worried me is the apprehension of Bryan, because it didn't happen for weeks after the murder, which gave him a lot of time to clean up and get rid of anything that he needed to. Now, what is interesting is this storage unit in question. If you noticed this morning that I posted a clip from News Nation regarding Bryan Kohberger's apartment search, you'll notice that I pretty quickly cut off the clip from the rest that's being explained. Because to me, that was all assumption at that point, i.e. Bryan's door was locked. No, it wasn't. Read the documents, Ashley. Because a lot of people go to that news channel for information. Time and time again, they've taken the smallest thing and made it the biggest headline. I mean, they had all night and day to literally access and go through this information to give out the right stuff to the public. But yet again, they just tried to get it out as fast as possible before any other news station could. Because it's not care and consideration when it's literally just for clicks and fucking likes. What is interesting is what they obtained under a set of Bryan's office keys that he used for work. And that was keys to a padlock. And that padlock was to a storage facility that's owned by the Washington State. The storage unit obviously comes with this apartment. And it's inside of the storage unit where these so-called hairs as well as the glove is found. But there is yet again another interesting play made here. I think they actually never even needed the key set to access this storage unit, because once they arrived there, it turns out the storage unit door was already ajar. And the padlock to this storage unit was inside of Bryan's apartment. If that's the case and they find the remnants of blood within inside this storage unit, that gives Bryan a defense, claiming that if the padlock was inside of his house this whole time and the door for this storage unit was left ajar, he wasn't the last person to be in there. Is the bullshit play that he's going to run with. I don't think they would have found blood, or they did find blood in there, because I'm assuming at that point Bryan would have changed, gone to his and showered immediately. As we do know, in his car they did find a map and they did find a shovel. If there is a murder weapon and there is clothes that he used that night, it's only Bryan that knows the location of them items on that map. If you can hear weird noises, I own a small gremlin. Also, a few people spoke about the redacted names that are within the start of this whole 166-page documentation. Try to remember that obviously 4 of the victims passed away and there were 2 survivors. So from witness protection, those 2 names will be Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, which when you look further down the documentation, you see their initials BF and DM. If you like this content, feel free to follow for more.